Hello everyone, I am Zarka Sarwat from Department of Zoology, JT Arts, Science and Commerce College for Women, Malegaon. Dear student, this is a presentation for you people, TYBSc student. In the earlier lecture, we have discussed about endocrinology. In that endocrine disorder that is gigantism, and now we are going to discuss about next endocrine disorder that is dwarfism. As we can see in a photograph, dwarfism is a condition of short stature result from a genetic or medical condition. Most people with dwarfism have disorders that cause disproportionality short stature. Usually this means that a person has an average sized trunk and very short limbs. But some people may have a very short trunk and shortened limb. In this disorder, the head is disproportionately large as compared to their body. Almost all people with disproportionate dwarfism have normal intellectual capacities. Means the people having dwarfism, they show normal intellectual power. Next point, rare exceptions are usually the result of secondary factor such as excess fluid around the brain, and this condition is called as hydrocephalus. In this, enlarged head and brain damage can be occur, and this condition is very rare. The most common cause of dwarfism is a disorder called achondroplasia, which causes disproportionately short stature. This disorder usually results in the following: that number 1, an average size trunk, short arms and legs, short fingers often with a wide separation between the middle and ring finger, limited mobility at the elbow. Next, a disproportionately large head with a prominent forehead and a flattened bridge of the nose. It means that flattening of the top part of nose. Progressive development of both legs. Both legs means the knees stay away apart even when standing with the feet and ankle together. Next point, progressive development of squat lower back and adult height around 4 feet, that is 122 centimeter. Next, what are the causes of dwarfism? Dwarfism can be caused by any of more than 200 conditions. Cause of proportionate dwarfism include metabolic and hormonal disorders such as growth hormone deficiency. If the growth hormone secreted in less amount as compared to normal range, then the condition is occurred, that is dwarfism. The most common type of dwarfism, known as skeletal dysplasia, are genetic condition. Skeletal dysplasia is an abnormal development of cells. Skeletal dysplasias are conditions of abnormal bone growth that cause disproportionate dwarfism, and it include number 1, achondroplasia. The most common form of dwarfism, achondroplasia, occur in about out of 26,000 to 40,000 babies and is evident or very clearly seen at the time of birth. People with achondroplasia have a relatively long trunk and shortened upper part of their arm and legs. Other features of achondroplasia include number 1, a large head with a prominent forehead, a flattened bridge of the nose, as we discussed earlier, that is the flattening of top part of nose. Next, protruding jaws. Jaws become protrude or conspicuous. Next, crowded and misaligned teeth. Forward curvature of the lower spine. Broad legs. Flat, short, broad feet. Double jointedness means greater than mobility, means the joint become hyper mobile. These are some causes of dwarfism. Now next, dwarfism genetics. Skeletal dysplasia, which affect child's bone and cartilage growth, is caused by a genetic mutation. The gene mutation can occur spontaneously or can be inherited. Dystrophic dysplasia and usually spondyloepiphyseal dysplasia are inherited in a recessive manner. It means that a child must have two recessive copies of mutated gene, one from the mother and one from the father. Achondroplasia, on the other hand, is inherited in dominant manner. Dystrophic dysplasia and spondyloepiphyseal dysplasia are inherited in recessive manner, but achondroplasia are inherited in a dominant manner. It means that a child needs only one copy of the mutated gene to have that form of skeletal dysplasia. There is a 25% chance that a child born to a couple in which both members have achondroplasia will be of normal height. But there is also a 25% chance the child will inherit both dwarfism gene, a condition known as double dominant syndrome. This is a fatal condition that usually results in miscarriage. Often parents of children with achondroplasia do not carry the mutated gene themselves. The mutation in the child occurs spontaneously at the time of conception. Now next point or last point, that is diagnosis of dwarfism. Some forms of dwarfism are evident at birth or during infancy and can be diagnosed through X-rays and a physical examination. A diagnosis of achondroplasia, dystrophic dysplasia, or spondyloepiphyseal dysplasia can be confirmed through genetic testing. In some cases, prenatal testing is done if there is a concern for a specific condition. Here are signs and symptoms to look for in children that indicate a potential for dwarfism. In that, number 1, late development of certain motor skills such as sitting up or walking, increased susceptibility to ear infection, breathing problem, weight problem, curvature of the spine, bowed leg, joint stiffness and arthritis, lower back pain or numbness in the leg, crowding of teeth. So this is all about dwarfism, and I hope this video is so informative to you. Thank you so much. Keep watching.